All right. What's going on, Guardians? Welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you are seeing an absolute cluster bleep of loadout videos for the day one Crota's world's first race tomorrow. But here I am bringing you yet another. I've been seeing everybody talking about Banner of War, everybody talking about their Warlock builds they're bringing in because you gotta have a well. I was anticipating being a warlock for this raid, but my team we're going with the straight 2-2-2 setup, two hunters, two titans, two warlocks. Still got the warlock on reserve if we feel like we need a third, but that's all right. So to start off first with the loadout I have on now, super fun loadout this season if you haven't tried it out already. Foetracer got a massive change this season, where if you damage a powerful combatant or guardian, you're going to get a ×4 weapon surge to a damage type matching your subclass type. So with Strand, that can be a little limiting, because when it comes to the heavy slot, we only have so many options. But we do have a sword. We do have the circular logic LMG with target lock. We do have the Strand grenade launcher from the raid. We do have a couple of Strand rocket launchers now. This season, Strand rockets, semi-otashin, or however you say it, looking pretty solid. I do have a field prep explosive light roll on deck, which I could show you all in dim here. Yep, have that on deck just in case, especially being able to very easily get a massive weapon surge with Foetracer just in case I feel I need it. But this loadout right here is what I plan to take in the very beginning. With this season's artifact, the Acolyte Staff, there is Thanotoic. I probably said that completely wrong, but it's okay. This Tangles mod. Strand weapon final blows have a chance to generate tangles. Quicksilver Storm already does that. Foetracer, another part of its rework. Kills on marked enemies can drop you an additional elemental pickup. Elemental munitions. This is an amazing perk paired with, of course, the Whirling Maelstrom Beyblade brand new Strand aspect to Hunters. This is what I intend to take in for the first couple encounters to make the most ammo possible for my team. I know that if I really need my Void Hunter for some reason, I can put on Collective Obligation or some sort of exotic primary and make plenty of ammo. But y'all, if you haven't been using this Elemental Munitions artifact perk, you're missing out. The amount of heavy that you are generating in Ad Dense rooms with Threadrunner on this setup is crazy. So I'm taking it in as my fun choice, the thing I plan to try out in the beginning. And of course, when you have contest mode on, that ×4 weapon surge is always helpful. It's always great. I've been using this for lots of things over the past couple of days, running the tier 3 altars of summoning especially, but moving right along, we've got Void. So for Void, it's pretty standard on my hunter here. I'm rocking Gerfalcon's, Funnel Web, Arbalist in case we got some champs, Commemoration because it's always fantastic. And it's a pretty basic, infinite invisibility chaining build with your ad clear. We do, of course, have our tether super. So, in the case that for some reason I do need my tether in a damage phase for some reason, I have Radiant Light. So, when I pop my tether, hopefully everybody is getting another armor charge stack for their weapon surges. Moving along, I have a couple of DPS loadouts, of course. Tried and true, Star Eater Scales, Gathering Storm, Rocket, Arbalist, Izanagi, whatever it is that you like, always outputs a ton of damage. These two loadouts are what I was using during Lightfall, doing Sherpas for run to consistently put out over 4 million damage. There were 4 times running that raid that I put out over 5 million damage. It's just fun stuff. This is just that build that continues to shine in endgame and D2 because it does have a lot of survivability baked in if you're running combination blow with Gambler's Dodge. The healing, the ad clear, it's solid. All right, so we of course do have Liar's Handshakes. This loadout is primarily saved because of how much I love to run Ghost of the Deep. This is mostly for Ektar. But if for some reason I end up in the situation where I'm going to be the debuff, the tractor cannon guy, if for some reason on Ear Ute it just ends up working out where we're close, or if for some reason on Crota it ends up working out where we want someone to just run in with tractor cannon, you know what? I got the survivability. I got the damage. I got cross counter and liar's handshakes to keep me alive. I'm going to sit up there and I'm going to punch Crota on contest while everyone else sits in the fucking back and not give a crap about it. All right. So, of course, these are also technically leftover loadouts from running Ghost of the Deep, but I'm keeping them anyway because I feel they're that good. So, as a Arc Hunter, you have to have an Assassin's Cowl set up no matter where you're going. I've got my Acacias for just add clear from when double special was so good, and I intend to keep running double special because, as some of us have seen in testing, when it comes to team comp, especially for something like a day one raid, it's looking like right now you want to have 2 or 3 people who are primarily, most likely, going to be your 2-3 people on ad clear, running exotic primaries, running all the scavengers, scouts, ammo finders, whatever, making a ton of ammo. And then you have, your 1 or 2, like, on my team, we have 2 hunters. So the 2 of us should absolutely be running double special to maximize our damage output for those damage phases if we need it. You have solid options like Acacias that helps you with ad clear, and you can easily switch to something like Null Composure or any other Void Fusion or any other fusion that matches whatever heavy you're using for your weapon surges to get extra damage in your loadout. Like this loadout right here for sustained damage is going to be absolutely insane. It does insane damage against the final boss of Ghost of the Deep. Every time I run Ghost of the Deep, and if I'm taking someone new through it, they always just be like, "Oh, dude, you're doing so much freaking damage. You did like 9 million damage." Well, we did like 5 damage phases, so 2.5 million of that damage is just her shield. But yeah, I guess 7 million damage is still pretty impressive. But Leviathan's Breath, always a solid option. A lot of people were loving it for taking out Nezarec in contest mode, especially with the catalysts, the Archer's tempo that it adds. It's a top tier weapon for sure. So I'm definitely keeping Leviathan's Breath loadout on deck. Next, another Void loadout, but the debuff is not really the focus here. The focus here of this loadout is, of course, Malfeasance combined with Lucky Pants. Some kinetic weapon surges for even more damage. Lucky Pants has been a tried and true hunter go-to for some extra damage to throw in a loadout if you need it. Of course, this season, everyone's been talking about how it's a little buffed with Overload Hand Cannon. A little bugged, not buffed, bugged. So you're able to put out, at times, over 1 million damage with just a primary. So I am, of course, keeping a loadout on deck with Lucky Pants and Malfeasance, with the Techian Force, Apex Predator. We got the Deadfall Tether. Should potentially be good if we need it. And of course, as always, Hunters, if you know how to Shatter State, you know that your Shatter State loadout is not going anywhere no matter who tells you what, which means that we gotta keep it. Now, there are some weapons you can swap out up top here. I just like Quicksilver Storm, so I keep Quicksilver Storm here. I like Iterative Loop and Forbearance, so I keep them there. I wanted something different than Forbearance, so Iterative Loop it is. And of course, your Eater Edge Sword, because if I'm able to scoot across that bridge encounter, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it first thing. All right. For the most part, that's the loadouts. Going to spend a few seconds here covering what I have in dim on my, what I'm calling my on deck. I, of course, have my Warlock on deck primarily, in case we feel like we really just need that third well, that third Warlock. Or if we're really struggling in DPS for some reason, my Hunter's not cutting it with all the crap I have, I can switch to a Strand Warlock, just Threadling spams everything. But my Warlock is also currently set up to be my on deck for my Hunter. If for some reason I need that crazy primary raw DPS, we got Touch of Malice to grab. If, for some reason I can't just swap to Lucky Pants. Osseo, Fatebringer, Heritage, Ager Scepter, Submission, Deliverance with Bait and Switch, because that's a fantastic option to have when you're running Tractor Cannon. Yeah, I mean, you all can see what I got rocking on here, what I have sitting here waiting to be dragged over or used on my Warlock. Risk Runner in case the beginning of the raid is absolutely terrible with the Thrall, because Thrall do their melee damage is technically arc. There's going to be a ton of arc in the raid. It's the Hive. You got their grenade launchers. There will be Void, of course. The Acolytes, they primarily have Void guns, but that's what a resist mod's for. You know, our extra trace rifles, our Callus mini tool, our Ikolos sniper in case, you know, we just need that sniper DPS for some reason. The linears on deck. Of course, we got Cataclysmic on deck. We've also got Briars. We've got Storm Chaser. You know, we've got everything we're gonna need. Everything we could possibly need to go in and crush this day one. I'm super excited. Leave a comment down below the thing that you're looking forward to most trying on the day one if you're jumping in. I do highly recommend you grab a team together, try out contest mode, regardless of if you care, don't care, want the, you know, emblem, the contest clear or not. Gonna be super fun. Crota coming back. Check it out, everybody.